have one new case in hotel quarantine. Yesterday, 10,871 tests were conducted, which is great. People are still going out and getting tested. 14,432 vaccines were delivered by Queensland Health in the past 24 hours. And I'd like to do a special call-out to the Townsville Community Vaccination Centre. They delivered 1,355 vaccines yesterday, more than anywhere else in the state. Here we are. Go Townsville!
Get them up, Cairns. Come on.
Come on, yeah. Come on, Cairns.
Order, member for Cairns.
Mr Speaker, we now have 82.75% of Queenslanders have had their first dose and 71.07% are now fully vaccinated. Mr Speaker, the COVID pandemic is the greatest peacetime challenge this country has ever faced. Just this past week, New South Wales and Victoria have recorded another 9,987 cases and, sadly, 67 deaths. The Northern Territory is also confronting a fresh outbreak, and we wish them all the very best. But, Mr Speaker, let me make this as plain and as clear as possible. It is not a matter of if more cases will come to Queensland, but when. But we are not helpless. Unlike southern states, we have the ability to protect ourselves before an outbreak arrives. We can get vaccinated, and we are. Last weekend's schools event was one of the most popular. By bringing the vaccine to the people, people are getting the vaccine. That is why we are doing it again this weekend. But, Mr Speaker, this Super Schools weekend will have an added bonus. Thanks to the Brisbane Broncos, the Gold Coast Titans, the Queensland Firebirds, the Brisbane Roar A-League Women, Queensland Swimming and the Queensland Reds, you won't just get a jab at our Super Schools weekend, you can also meet some of your favourite sporting heroes. Darius Boyd, Payne Haas, Justin Hodges and Jared Wallace are just a few of the players giving up their time to spread the Get Vaccinated message. And I don't think they'll be coming out to see you, member for Koana.
Order. Neutral corners.
But, Mr Speaker, it doesn't end there. Sport has the power to unite and inspire us. That is especially true of the Olympics. This week, 2020 silver medalist beach volleyballer Taliqua Clancy and boxer Brad Hoare are travelling through the far north as part of the Olympics Unleashed program. They are visiting Thursday Island, Horn Island, Yarrabah and Lockhart River, inspiring a new generation to follow in their footsteps. They will also be spreading the message to get vaccinated. Mr Speaker, I must also thank Jonathan Thurston for the work he is doing spreading the vaccine message in some of our most remote Aboriginal communities in the far north. Vaccinations mean keeping the freedoms we have enjoyed throughout the pandemic. A vaccine makes us 86% less likely to contract COVID and pass it on. If you are fully vaccinated, your chance of dying from COVID falls by 90%. Anyone who has questions should talk to their trusted health professional, like your GP or pharmacist, or those at our vaccine hubs. They're there to help. They are always there to listen and support you and explain why these vaccines are so important to not just yourself, but protecting your family and your community and your state. Mr Speaker, there are now 90,000 more Queenslanders in jobs than at the start of the pandemic, and the numbers speak for themselves. But we're not just creating jobs, we're also ensuring that Queenslanders have the skills they need to get a job. Today I'm pleased to announce $70.1 million in funding for the latest round of our successful Skilling Queenslanders for Work program. This will support more than 8,800 disadvantaged Queenslanders into jobs through 279 initiatives across the state. Projects like Deadly Eats Hospitality traineeships in Cherbourg, certificate qualifications in construction in Doomadgee and Napranum, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander primary healthcare training in Yarrabah, fundamentals of community pharmacy training in Toowoomba, Bundamba, Brisbane, Loganholme and Nerang, and 30 lucky job seekers will even complete their Certificate 1 in Conservation and Ecosystem Management at the Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary. Mr Speaker, today I can also confirm that applications will open for the next round of Skilling Queenslanders for Work in February next year. Mr Speaker, since 2015, more than 40,300 Queenslanders have secured a job as a direct result of this initiative. That's why we've committed $320 million over 4 years to deliver funding certainty for this program into the future. This investment is part of our $1 billion skills and training budget, which also includes $140 million for our Back to Work program to help unemployed Queenslanders secure jobs. Mr Speaker, our government has a strong record on skills and training. We reversed the cuts to TAFE. We introduced free TAFE, giving more than 44,000 young Queenslanders the opportunity to study at TAFE or to get an apprenticeship for free. We're leading the nation in vocational education in schools, and we've delivered more than $105 million to rebuild and revamp campuses across our great state. Mr Speaker, ensuring Queenslanders have the skills they need to secure long-term employment is an important part of our economic recovery plan. Now, Mr Speaker, we also know Queensland is the place to be. If you're living in Hobart, suffering through the sleet and snow and dreaming of a better life, now could be your chance. Right across the state, we're seeing strong demand from tourists looking to book holidays in Queensland after December 17. That means that in our tourism industry, we're creating more jobs than we have Queenslanders who want to fill them. I'm advised that currently we have hundreds, if not thousands, of vacancies in our tourism and hospitality sectors throughout our state, with chefs, cooks, waiters and waitresses and tour guides in high demand. That's why this week we'll ignite our Work in Paradise marketing campaign to entice workers to join our tourism industry in North, Far North and West Queensland. We'll also target students, inviting them to take a gap year to work in Paradise. Our $7.5 million Work in Paradise campaign will be featured on TV, social media, radio and online. And as long as they've had 2 doses of COVID-19 vaccine, this program is available to workers in all states and territories, including our friends in Tasmania, where I'm advised it was actually snowing earlier this week. Mr Speaker, I had the privilege of attending the Queensland Tourism Awards on Friday night. It was great to see that the Scenic Rim Regional Council won the Richard Power Award for Tourism Marketing Campaigns, less than a month after the Scenic Rim was named in the Lonely Planet's list of the top 10, one of the top 10 hottest destinations to visit in 2022. It was fantastic to see the largest, in the world, I'll clarify that, in the world. It was also fantastic to see the largest crowd on record attend the Queensland Tourism Awards this year, with more than 1,100 people gathering to celebrate the resilience of this important sector. And I want to thank the Minister for Tourism for his attendance, and I know many other ministers were also in attendance as well. Mr Speaker, I can say with confidence from my discussions with industry leaders that a shortage of workers is a concern for many operators in regional areas. And I know that the Assistant Minister for Tourism has also been raising that issue up in Cairns. So, Mr Speaker, why would you not want to come and work in Paradise? Seeing George Clooney and Julia Roberts are also working in Paradise at the moment, Mr Speaker. And finally, Mr Speaker, I'd like to update the House on an announcement I made last sitting week. I announced a new game-changing 15% rebate incentive to drive more local interstate and international games developers and studios to Queensland. Mr Speaker, because of that announcement, today I can further announce that Australia's largest publicly listed video games company, Playside Studios, has decided to set up shop right here in Queensland. In its first expansion outside of Melbourne, Playside will open a brand new studio on the Gold Coast next year, creating around 50 to 70 new jobs as they grow. Mr Speaker, Playside is the developer of Age of Darkness, Final Stand and other self-published games, and has worked with other companies like Facebook, 2K and studios such as Disney, Pixar and Warner Brothers and Nickelodeon. Mr Speaker, this PDV Games incentive was live for just 3 weeks before we attracted our first major games developer. I can't wait to see what other games developers jump on board.
Before calling the Deputy Premier, members, some people don't go to work on their birthdays, but the member for Rockhampton has